Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason and I am your watch guy today. Today I'm bringing you an update on a model that I've already featured. This is the PD1701. It is their homage to my personal grail watch, the Omega Speedmaster, the Moonwatch. We all know how much we love the Moonwatch on this channel, and any excuse for me to show you guys it or get it on the camera, I will take wholeheartedly. Now, since we last featured the Pagani design Speedmaster homage, a new contender's come onto the market. I am of course talking about the MoonSwatch from the Swatch and Omega collaboration. Now, that's still, to this day, taking the watch market by storm. And I was really interested in them when they were released. I really wanted to collect each and every one of them. However, the prices are just insane on the secondary market, and you can't pick them up in first person purchases without, I don't know, being one of the luckiest people alive. So today I am going to tell you why I think, for someone who wants a little bit of a Speedmaster vibe in their life, the Pagani design is the way to go. Now, this one has been sent to me for free by the trendy men's watch store. I don't have to send it back. However, this is a full, open and honest assessment of that piece. Now, if you would like to pick one up, I have a link in the description. That's an affiliate link to the trendy men's watch store on Aliexpress. If you use that, I get a little bit of a kickback. However, you don't pay any extra, and it really does help the channel. So in advance, thank you if you use that. If you don't, thank you for watching anyway. That's all that really matters. Now, with all that out of the way, let's turn this camera around and let me tell you what Pagani have done to update this piece. You guys must have seen this coming when you saw that I was going to feature another Moonwatch homage on the channel. Yep, that's right. This is my trusty Omega Speedmaster Professional. It's a 2017 and it is, in fact, my grail watch. Now, I dig this out every time that I am discussing anything that I can relate it to, because I love to show it to the camera. Today, I am going to unbox the new Pagani design version 3, and I'm going to explain to you why that is a much better option than picking yourself up an Omega Swatch, MoonSwatch. It's at its time in the light now. I'll bring it back when we've got the other one out of the box, but I'll just pop it over to this side. And here we have the box. So, this has been sent to me by the trendy men's watch store on Aliexpress. They've sent this to me for free. I have explained that in the intro. If you'd like to pick one up, I do have their link in the description. They're about £73 at the moment, I believe. Let's get this little piece open. So, it looks like we have the usual Pagani design box. I won't be going into that too much because you know what to expect from it. Right, let's get this open. The usual polishing cloth. They've sent me a spare band, which is nice of them. These are, yeah, usually signed by Pagani design on the buckles. The amount of those I have now is ridiculous. Let's give this a little shine up before we take it out. And here we have it. So, this one has got a couple of improvements from the previous model, and I've been really, really excited to see this. Now, they did contact me when they released version 2. However, they didn't make all of the changes that they were expected or they were requested. So I did hold out until version 3 because they finally made the changes that we needed them to, really. And that involves this handset. Now, there is a Mecha Quartz piece. We have a decent few changes on this one. I think that this one really does stand up as a homage, especially with this band. Let me unpack the rest of the watch. Let's see what we're dealing with. Now, for £73, these are not exactly the cheapest of Pagani Design's releases. However, they are new releases and therefore they do demand a small premium. You will notice that during sale season they will come down in price. Now, if you wanted to pick one up straight away, I wouldn't blame you because I'm impatient also. But if you did want to wait for a sale, I'm pretty sure there's one coming towards the end of the month, which I advise people to wait for all the time, because if you're gonna save a little bit of money, save a little bit of money. You know, I mean, it's usually only about £10, but you know, if you can save £10, save £10. Let's check that the functions are working. There's that Mecha Quartz sweep. So there's the hand function. One thing I will say is that it's quite light on the hands there. Date also works perfectly fine. Right, let's start unwrapping this watch. I'll stop speaking and we'll go into a little bit of a time lapse or fast forward. Okay, here we go. So really, I understand that you can't really compare the two of these little numbers together. I mean, to be completely fair to each of them, the Pagani design does have a sapphire crystal and it does have a ceramic bezel insert, which some people would see as a step up. Myself, I like the aesthetic of the aluminium bezel or the bezel insert on this piece, and the Hesalite really does it for me. There's a reason I didn't select the sapphire sandwich version, and that's because I just think that this is the real authentic piece that I wanted. This is the one that really set the journey of life for me. So let's talk about the Pagani and why I think it is a much better selection than the Swatch MoonSwatch release that has really just hammered the market, that's really taken the market by storm. Now, the MoonSwatch, for one, is not available. You just can't pick them up at a reasonable price. And trust me, I know, I've tried. And if they were available regularly, we'd be having a completely different discussion, and I'd probably be reviewing one of them right now, because I do think they're a fantastic idea. I think that it's allowing accessibility to the market of people that really can't afford a grail piece like an Omega Speedmaster. They're not exactly cheap for what they are. They're definitely not cheap. However, I do think that they're a really good proposition for some people. Now, the issue that I have with them is that you can't pick them up. They've made them completely unavailable online, and I feel like that's a very Rolex type of feel to Swatch at the minute. I understand what they're doing, I understand how the market works and how they are obviously trying to drive as much demand as possible, but it is kind of annoying for an everyday collector like myself. Now, this Pagani offers plenty of the homage ability that you really want in that Speedmaster category. The bezel itself is a ceramic bezel insert, which does look really good in person. One thing I would say is that it does seem a little bit chunkier than the original, and as well as that, the dial itself doesn't have the same type of aesthetic, that flat type of aesthetic, and that's because I believe that they needed a little bit more anti-reflective coating on the sapphire crystal here. The sapphire crystal is a slight step up from the casing, and it does carry off that vintage aesthetic very well. We have some lovely brushing down the sides of this one. I do like the mixture of brush and polish chamfered edges there with the twist that you are pretty aware is synonymous of Omega. That's what screams Omega to me. Now, I do think that's a really good quality that they've gotten in there. As well as that assigned crown, screw down crown, that's another thing that they have upgraded from what would be the Omega itself. Pagani have definitely come really close with this case design. Obviously, you would expect the finishing of Omega to be a much higher standard, but that doesn't mean that this is a badly finished case. In fact, I would argue that it's quite a well finished case. The bezel is slightly thicker on the outer edge. I'll give you a little comparison of those two. The sapphire crystal, I think, is it's a needed step for Pagani design. Obviously, they don't have the whole Hesalite thing to fall back on, so they need to pack this with a decent crystal, really, don't they? As we move on into the dial, another thing that really does stand out to me is how bright those hands are now. And that was the biggest update that Pagani really needed to pull off in this watch. They needed the white outer to the hands to really give it that Moonwatch aesthetic. Now, I understand the appeal behind the whole MoonSwatch phase, but I do think if you want an out-and-out homage, this is the way to go. I love the little twist that Swatch are putting on the Speedmasters, but I think this is the way to go for someone who really does want that aesthetic at a reasonable price. A VK63 movement. One thing I would say is that the date window could have been better covered up. I'm glad that they've matched the colour, because obviously it does look better, but if they're going to put the date window in there, let's go brighter with the colour, because you can hardly see it. Another thing, the dials, the sub-dials are recessed much deeper into the dial itself than you would see on the Omega, and they don't have that smoothness across the dial that I really do enjoy on the Omega. Finally, I would have liked to have seen the Pagani design logo to be brighter. A more definitive white on the dial there would have really aided them, I think. Now, I have just rattled through a lot of downsides to the watch. However, I think for £73, this is absolutely fantastic. It's a, I'm going to err away from saying bargain, because it may not be to everyone, but I do think that it's a very well-priced piece, and coming up to the sale season, I think that it's going to do very well. Let me switch our focus to this bracelet. Now, I am going to size it up quickly and get a wrist shot in for you, because honestly, I think that this is going to fit really well to my wrist. So the bracelet itself is made up of 5 pieces, 5 individual links, and I think that's actually quite a snazzy feature. Now, as you can see here, they are individually machined pieces, individual links on this one, which is a piece of quality in my mind. You know, not just adding a polish on top and a deep line in the center. They are actually giving you a 5-piece bracelet. They also have a extension on here, a diver's extension. I don't know why you'd be using that, but it adds a little bit of I don't know, a little bit extra for those of you out there that are looking for that. Personally, I had to let that out, but I don't think they had the option with this clasp, because it is the one that they use in all of their other models also. I'm just going to quickly adjust this down a couple. My tiny wrists cannot sustain the bracelet, you see. One thing that I do find interesting about Pagani, people who aren't really interested in the market, interested in, you know, the history of watches, or have just really started their journey into watches, are really always super impressed by what you can get from this brand. I actually had a friend of mine message me today who just stumbled across my channel, or I think another friend had told him about it, and he was talking to me about Pagani design, how he couldn't believe how much they pack in for the money and how affordable they were. You never thought that you could pick up that type of watch for that type of price. So I do think that they really bridge that type of gap. A lot of people do think that you have to spend hundreds of pounds on a watch to get something that's halfway decent, but with these you really don't. So I do think that that's a real everyday man's type of appeal to these. I really do understand that. On wrist, feels very comfortable, as you would expect from this type of casing. It's not exactly the longest in the world. It's not short either. Let's bring the calipers in to get an exact measure before I butcher it. So we have 47.6 there, and in diameter 41.2. Now if we have a look at our Speedmaster here, hardly any difference in the diameter. Hardly any difference in the lug to lug. I mean, they are scarily close. From someone who has spent thousands of pounds on one of these watches, it is scary how close the Chinese can get for less than 100. Now, personally, I can appreciate the detail that they are missing, the detail in the Omega that I really don't think I'd ever get from any sort of homage, be it Pagani, be it Swatch. I just don't think I'm ever going to get that type of feeling again. But it is really nice to see this type of homage and really have that availability in the market for people who want to pick up that type of style but simply don't have the thousands of pounds to spend. One thing that a lot of people have actually asked in the comment section of the last couple of videos on these, do the bracelets fit each other? Well, I can confirm, unfortunately, they do not. The Pagani design bracelets end links, or the holes for the end links, don't compete or don't sit at the same spot in the end link as the Omega's does. As you can see, I've got an Uncle Seiko band on mine, and yeah, I can confirm that they aren't compatible, unfortunately. However, there are plenty of other options for this little Pagani, and that's why they've included this NATO band. So let me get this on the Pagani for you and show you the versatility of this watch before we end this review, or catch up if you like. Here we have it, the Pagani design Moonwatch on a NATO band. As I said, it is quite a versatile piece. This style really does go with so many different options. Now, I've actually seen a company who've got a fitted rubber band for the Speedmaster that comes in yellow, and I know that that's a little brash, a little eccentric, but it's a little bit of me that I keep meaning to pick one up, or find one of the companies that I work with that also offer one. Look at that fella. I mean, for £75, you can't complain, can you? 74. It's a good price for what you're getting here. And again, I think Pagani have done it. I think a lot of people will pick this one up in the upcoming sale. I think it'll be a very popular model once again. And if this one isn't popular, I think what I've got coming up in here will probably tip the scale for you. So make sure you check back on the channel for that one. So there we have it, guys. That's my personal opinion at this very moment on the market with what's happening around us. I think that the Pagani design is the best option for you for a Speedmaster homage right now, to get that little feeling of a Speedmaster in your life. Obviously, for me, it's not going to feel the same as the actual Speedmaster. However, I can really appreciate what this would do for someone that really envisions themselves having that watch one day, or someone that just wants a little feeling of that grail piece that I have. Now, let me clear up that I do really like the idea of the MoonSwatch series. I think they're fantastic, and if they become available on a regular basis where I can actually buy one, then I will probably start buying them myself, and you can probably see them on the channel later down the line. However, as it is right now, am I paying that much for a plastic watch that ticks? I mean, some of these things are selling for half the price that I bought my bloody Omega for. It's insane. In fact, it's stupidity. So if you want to go play those stupid prices, that's fine. I won't be. Thank you for watching this one, guys. I really do appreciate it. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. That's how you can see the most of my content on your feed. And while you're around, leave me a comment. I do love interacting in that section. Thanks for watching this one, guys. I'll see you in the next one.